things to come up. Okay.
Hello, today I'm going to be talking about plants for dry soils. So the right plant in the right place. The best way to garden, the most sustainable way to garden is to match up the plants that are adapted to the conditions you have. So we're going to look at the position of a dry wall top. So we need plants that can cope with that. Now this has been an unusually dry year to the point some of our drought tolerant plants have actually succumbed to drought. We can actually see, if the camera person zooms in, evidence of actual death due to drought, even of plants that are adapted to dry soils. So what are those adaptations? If you're looking at plants, sometimes their adaptations can give you a clue. So plants adapted for dry soils may have really deep root system to be able to search for water. Others will have succulent leaves. Think of the sedums that you see growing in walls, succulent leaves. If you can't remember that, think of the cacti and succulents as houseplants that we grow. They are adapted for desert conditions. So a succulent can store water in it. So these are sedums. We also have house leeks. You could see them growing on the wall. This is a beautiful dark cultivar, but this is Sempervivum tectorum. And here you can see it up on the board. I've written the name up there. Succulent leaves to store water, so really good adaptation for dry conditions. Other conditions to look out for are those plants that have silvery leaves. Now, if we're out and about on a cold... Can I turn this round?
Yeah, so I can
Sorry,
see it.
Sheila Purser.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at this. So, if we're out and about on a really hot day, we tend to wear light colours because light colours reflect the sunlight rather than a dark colour. So a lot of our plants that cope with dry conditions, sunny conditions, will have a very silvery sheen to reflect that light. I think that's really clever. So you can see that again on another little alpine plant, and there's a little oxalis there. It also has tuberous roots, which are really good for storing water. So it's survived the drought conditions on the top of this wall. Another little silver-edged plant there. So that's another adaptation. And one that's really good to look out for, though, as an adaptation, are hairs on the leaves combined with a silvery leaf. So there we can move into some of our herbs. Think of the Mediterranean herbs. Sage, Salvia officinalis. When you look close at a sage leaf, you will notice that it's ever so slightly hairy on those stems, and that slows down the rate that air goes over the leaf and slows down transpiration rate. So it's very clever. But these herbs not only are hairy, they also have those wonderful essential oils, which means that also slows down the transpiration rate. So they are adapted. Those essential oils that we love in Salvia officinalis, our sage. What else can we think of? Lavender, Lavandula angustifolia. It's got silvery leaves to reflect the light. It's got slightly hairy leaves. It has that wonderful essential oil in there, and the leaves are very narrow to reduce the surface area from which water's lost from. Not only are they narrow, they are slightly rolled. Can you see that they roll in? And that also reduces the amount of surface area of the leaf that's exposed to sunlight, reducing the transpiration rate. So they're really well adapted, lots of adaptations there, and a beautiful essential oil scent. That rolled silvery leaf goes into our rosemary, our Rosmarinus officinalis. See the silvery leaf, a slightly rolled leaf, and if you touch them, you get the essential oil in there. So all those adaptations are for dry soils. What about our little thymes? Another adaptation for dry soils is to have very small leaves, really small surface area, reduced transpiration, and many of our dry lovers actually like to have that low growing habit, so they're very small, they're not pulling water high up. So a whole range of adaptations on there, and I've whistle-stopped through a few names, but if the camera points towards our names, we've got things like Salvia officinalis, the sage, silvery leaves, Lavandula angustifolia, lavender, essential oils. And as you're going down, you're noticing the Latin names have their capital letters, for the genus, small case letters, for their species. And if we had a cultivar name, for me, I love Lavandula angustifolia, and I grow one called Peter Pan, which is a beautiful dark blue, low growing, doesn't mind the Cumbrian winters. good set of names there for you, but keep an eye out for all those adaptations, because you can see something like a Nepeta with its silvery leaves, furry leaves, and you might think, ah, that would be good in my dry spot in my garden. So that's the right plant for the right place for dry soils. Thank you.